A special good evening to all who are participating here today. And, what we're about to witness here today is something that, to the best of my knowledge, has never been done before. But of course, as the leaders of that JN group are, we have decided to make this special occasion just for you. I'd like to welcome everybody from the UK family. I'd also like to send special welcome to persons joining us today. A very experienced person in the real estate field, Mr. Carlton Earl Samuels, Assistant General Manager for Chief Development Financing Officer, Jane Group. Also with us this evening is Garfield Prendergast, Lieutenant Colonel Garfield Prendergast, Managing Director for JN Properties Limited. We also have online with us Mrs. Elizabeth Stair. She's the Director, JN Properties Limited, and of course, other senior members of the JN Properties and also the JN Group team. Welcome all. I am Kerry Scott, and I will be the man taking you through this evening's affairs. And I hope that at the end of it, you will all be motivated because of all the things that are happening in Jamaica now. We have dubbed this evening Jamaica Property Boom, Innovation, Regulation, and Opportunities. Now, this is so simply because what has been happening in Jamaica over the last 15 years, or maybe a little bit longer, what we've seen is a tremendous growth in the real estate industry, and a growth that I don't believe it is showing any signs of slowing down anytime soon. And because of this, we want to ensure that you, our UK family, are all a part of this growing trend, all these opportunities that are coming up in Jamaica. We want to partner with you on this journey. Now, to help us through this journey, we will have with us today, as I said before, Carlton Earl Samuels. Mr. Samuels again, is the Assistant General Manager in charge of the development finances for the Jamaica National Group. Mr. Samuels, he will be presenting to you today, and he comes to us with a wealth of knowledge in finance, also in banking. Mr. Samuels will be taking us through, pretty much telling us about what has been happening in the industry. He'll be sharing some very important information on how we can navigate through all the little intricacies that will make you or UK family get a part of the rock, as we call it here in Jamaica. Mr. Sam, I'd like to welcome Mr. Sam, who will take us through his presentation.
Thanks very much, Kerry, for that introduction. My colleague, Colonel Sean Prendergast, special guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be with you this evening. For those of you who are in the UK, those in the US and other places, it's early afternoon. A very warm Jamaican welcome to everyone joining us here today. As it is approaching summer, we are feeling the heat already here in Jamaica. If we could share some of our sunshine with you, we would, because it is scorching hot. However, I'm here today to talk to you about another hot topic. Not the weather, but real estate. The real estate market in particular. Investing in real estate has long been a popular choice for people looking to build wealth and secure their financial future. As Jamaica real estate market continues to evolve and expand, investing in the local sector is a sure path for improving one's financial well-being. The Jamaican real estate market is stable and well-established, offering a variety of options for both local and foreign buyers. Property prices in Jamaica are among the most competitive in the Caribbean. And I have been serving on various Caribbean associations, including the Caribbean Association of Housing Finance Institutions and the Caribbean Association of Banks. So I can speak without any reservation that real estate prices in Jamaica are the most competitive in the Caribbean. I'll now look at some benefits of investing in real estate in Jamaica, but I will not limit it to just invest in real estate, but I'll focus on that for now. Investing in real estate in Jamaica provides various opportunity, the opportunity to realize and earn lucrative rental income and to realize significant capital appreciation in your property value. And based on movements in the property values over the years, there is opportunity to realize capital appreciation. And when we look at a 5-year average, you can realize capital appreciation of up to 60%. And in some places, especially on some of the high demand North Coast properties, property prices almost doubled in 5 years. Another thing is Jamaica has a high demand for real estate by both foreigners and local who want a piece of the rock. Thirdly, Jamaica is conducive to growth and was named the #1 Caribbean country by Forbes. So you'd be investing in a safe destination, safe country. Also, Jamaica has a vibrant and well-established real estate market with a wide range of offerings from affordable condos to luxury villas. So we cater for everyone. Jamaica also has a powerful tourism sector and a market that generate high rental income. We have recently reviewed data from the Realtors Association of Jamaica, which shows that in 2023, $31.9 billion Jamaican dollars in sales were closed on various property types across Jamaica, with the bulk of the properties being bought in St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, Manchester, and St. James. Rentals also had a good year, with reported value for that activity in the year 2023 amounting to more than $273 million, with St. Andrew, St. Catherine, and St. James accounting for the lion's share. In the past years, most of the major housing development activities were in Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, and around the major tourism belt of St. James, St. Anne, and Trelawney. With the development of highways across Jamaica, and the one being built now, going through St. Thomas into Portland, linking up with the North Coast Highway, that activity has caused an opening up of the entire country for real estate investment. The entire country has become attractive for real estate investment, and most of the country could be considered urbanized because of the goods and services which were once only available in the parish capitals are more easily accessible to the real estate developments by this improvement in road network. And some of these services are also included in some of the real estate development. So these services are brought close to your residence. No longer you have to make these long treks on these challenging roads sometimes to get to Kingston or Montego Bay or your parish capital to access these services. With the improvement in the road network and also the including some of these services in your housing development, make it much easier for you as an investor in these properties. The profile of housing development in Jamaica is also undergoing significant changes and is reflective more of the urban development in the developed countries, especially in Kingston and St. Andrew and the Montego Bay region. With the rezoning by the National Environmental Authority, that is one of our planning agency, and the local municipal authorities, housing densities have increased for some of the urban areas. And this has resulted in the development of several condominiums and other multi-story housing units. Most of these properties are well designed, architecturally attractive, and offer all the amenities required for comfortable living. And I want to assure you and to just to let you know that investors in most of these properties realize significant increase in property value within 2 years of acquisition. And I've known property which came on the market at $900,000 US in Kingston. And within 18 months, the same property was being resold, was on the market for $1.2 million. That's almost a 33% increase in less than 2 years. So I'm not saying that this will realize for all properties, but once you invest in real estate, the only way the prices move is up. In the corporate area in particular, the housing profile has changed. And by the corporate area, I'm referring to Kingston, and also want to look at in the Montego Bay region. Housing profile has changed and single-family units are in high demand. Single-family units in such areas as Havendale, Barbican, and St. Andrew, they're being purchased by developers, and these single-family units are being converted to multi-story condominiums. So the density has increased, and you can realize there is high demand for those properties. The North Coast is also steadily becoming an attractive spot for real estate investors. And the addition of international flights coming into and out of the recently opened or expanded Fleming International Airport in St. Mary, Ian Fleming International Airport in St. Mary, is certainly making that part of the country even more appealing. And with the expansion of the road network, as I said earlier, through St. Thomas, what you're going to have now is you can land at the end Fleming, and if you invest in Portland, St. Thomas, St. Anne, it's easy commuting to your home. No longer you have to trek across the hills of St. Catherine to get your properties here. So we're bringing access by way of air and also by way of road network, make it very attractive and easy for you to invest anywhere you would like to in Jamaica. And there are also individuals who really return home and want to build on their family land, want to build their dream home. They left Jamaica a long time ago and they intend to retire in Jamaica. They might have owned a piece of land in Jamaica and they want to build on their family property. A lot of these people are now, instead of going and building their standalone home in the areas from which you come, they are invested in gated communities where they know their homes will appreciate in value at a faster rate. They also have the services offered in these gated communities. Gated communities provide great investment opportunities because they offer private amenities, and owners do not need to consider to manage large surrounding lands that they would have on their standalone property out in their family land. So depending on the location, some of these gated communities also offer a wide range of other services that you would previously have to go to the town centers to access. We recognize that owning real estate in Jamaica is a big goal for many in the diaspora. And we at JN are here to help everyone wishing to acquire land or property to accomplish their goal. We have been around for 150 years, and JN has been helping Jamaicans from all walks of life to achieve that goal and build generational wealth through home ownership. Most of you all know Jamaica National Building Society. We are now JN Bank, and some of the same home ownership services that you want access to the JN Building Society, you access that and more now through JN Bank. We recognize that some of you would interested in building custom homes on your lands in Jamaica. And again, our experts can help you with this process. One of the first steps here is to obtain approval from the appropriate municipal corporation. There are permits which are also required, such as for new construction, and getting these can be a straightforward process once you can easily provide the documentation and information required. And our JN Property Unit is available to assist you in the process. I just want to remind you that where and how you build is also very important. Anyone who wishes to build must get approval from the relevant approval agencies before they can go ahead with putting up a structure. And some of these agencies are, first of all, the National Environmental Planning Agency, and they will tell you what is allowed in a particular area. Then you would engage your architect to do your design, which would be submitted to the parish council for approval. But there are also other allied agencies that you need to consult in the process. But if you engage a competent professional or JN Properties, they will guide you through the process and to make it much easier for you. Building on your own land, as I said, can be exciting, but unexpected delays can also test your patience. So it is better to have all your permits in place prior to beginning the project, as this will help you to overcome potential risk, such as any legal, financial, environmental, or physical issues that may impact the development. And I've been in this business for a long time, and over the years, I usually advise persons planning to build to give themselves some room in their timeline to account for any unforeseen delays that are likely to happen, such as was experienced recently a supply chain problem caused by the COVID, because a lot of the inputs in the construction, the development sector imported. So sometimes there can be delays in you getting all the inputs required. So we need to plan with that in mind. But again, if we engage the services of competent professionals along the way and don't try to do it by ourselves, we can be guided to overcome and to easily deal with some of these challenges. For persons who are not living in Jamaica, investing and managing real estate while you're abroad can sometimes be stressful, but we can make it stress-free. Our property managers at JN Properties can do all the work for you and save you money in the process. JN Properties is duly licensed and registered with the Real Estate Board of Jamaica, and their license allows them to conduct real estate sales and leases on behalf of their clients, their customers. Who we are encouraging to invest in Jamaica. Also, if you need funding for whether you want to do development, you want to build your own home, or you want to acquire a property, JN provides development financing for large-scale projects, and we also provide residential mortgages and loans for those who are just seeking to purchase a already built property. Finally, I'd just like to say that JN continues to be a prime destination for investing in real estate. And I hope the information you're receiving today will encourage you to take advantage of some of the opportunities. An investment in real estate in Jamaica can provide both income and capital gains. And by capital gains, I mean growing your wealth. Jamaica is a stable economy, and the country is I know I don't need to tell you that, but Jamaica is one of the best places to live. And for those of you who, for one reason or another, have to live abroad and you want to come home for a holiday, invest in a property in Jamaica so that you can increase your wealth and your stake in the country is advisable. Our JN team, including our webinar host, JN Properties, stand ready and willing to help you execute your plans and maximize opportunities to grow your wealth in real estate in Jamaica. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, or is a pleasure being with you this evening, and I will remain with you throughout this webinar, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or to respond to any concerns that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sam. Mr. Samuels, thank you so much for that. You really shared a lot of information with us there, and I'm absolutely sure that what you have shared with everyone here, we will take that into account. Now, just to give a little bit of additional information on why it is important, on why now is the time in terms of an opportunity to invest in Jamaica. Now, the real estate market in Jamaica is estimated to be worth around 74 billion pounds as of this year, and it is projected that by 2028 we'll be looking at somewhere along the lines of 128 billion pounds by that time. So that just goes to show the opportunities that exist currently, and I'm hoping that at the end of this webinar you'll all be motivated to reach out to Jane Properties Limited, who will definitely be your real estate partner in this journey, along with Jane Bank and generally the Jane Group. There are some questions in the chat that we will seek to answer some of them in the chat. However, we will also take a few of those questions at the Q&A section of this webinar to ensure, well, for the benefit of everyone, because I'm sure you may have persons who may have similar questions and they would benefit from those answers. Now, at this time, our next speaker who will be coming to you is a gentleman who has been around the block. He has a lot of experience in various areas, and real estate is just another of the many. He goes by the name Lieutenant Colonel Garfield Prendergast, and when you see him, you will realize that, yes, that is absolutely a Lieutenant Colonel. Lieutenant Colonel Prendergast, he is the Managing Director for Jane Properties Limited. He joined Jamaica National Building Society in 2024 as executive in charge of the admin division. And since then, he has been moving the Jane Group, and now he is entrusted with the awesome task of placing JN Properties Limited on the map. Lieutenant Colonel Garfield Prendergast, the show is yours.
Right. Good afternoon to everybody that is on the webinar at this point. A special welcome to all the registered attendees, especially from the UK. Good evening to you all. To my fellow panelists, ladies and gentlemen, good evening all. It is my pleasure today to introduce JN Properties Limited to the gathering here. Mr. Samuels has basically gone into a lot of detail on what the developments have been taking place in Jamaica, the strengthening of the real estate market, and the current boom in construction that is taking place across the island, whether it is in residential properties or commercial properties. We find that Jamaica is now ripe for investment. We have the benefits accruing to locals, but also we have overseas investors taking a keen interest in what is happening in Jamaica. And we thought it best to invite our UK partners to be aware of what is happening and see how you are best able to participate or benefit from joining into the investment opportunities. JN Properties itself was formed in 1984 as a company, and since then has been providing services that I'll go into later on, but we were more focused on providing these services within the JN Group to all the subsidiaries within the group. We have recently taken a decision to expand the business and to offer the same high quality service that we're doing within the group to external entities and individuals. And that's the main aim of this presentation that I'll be doing, is showing you what JN Properties can offer as you try to take advantage of the many investment opportunities that are going on in Jamaica right now. JN Properties is a subsidiary of the MCS Group Limited and also of the JN Group. And one of the benefits of being a part of such a large group of companies is that if you do business with JN Properties, you have a fast track to engage other subsidiary companies within the group, whether it is the JN Bank for mortgages, project loans, other banking services, or for instance, our general insurance company, which would take care of property insurance and the like. You name the kind of service that you would need in Jamaica, and JN Properties is likely to have a subsidiary that can address those needs. Our focus this evening is to show what JN Properties can provide, and we hope that you will find it interesting. So our main aim as a company is to create and maintain appropriate, effective, and economical property-related experiences that align to strategic objectives and support people in doing their best work, whether it's in the corporate setting or to experience enriching personal comfort in residential settings every day, wherever they are. I'll touch a bit on the management team. You have myself, and as my rank will show, I was a member of the Jamaica Defense Force for some 32 years before joining JN Properties in 2014. So I have over 40 years of experience in management and leadership, which I bring to bear with leading the company. My two senior managers, one, Kerry Scott, who is doing our MC duties for today. He's the head of our real estate and properties portfolio. And we have Andrew Wilson. He's head of our facilities and projects portfolio. Both these gentlemen each of them have over 20 years experience in their areas of responsibility. So we have a very seasoned team here. I want to take this opportunity now to give you an idea of the type of property portfolio that JN Properties currently manages. And we do have what I describe as a very significant property portfolio that we currently manage, and we currently offer top-end services for these entities. We manage a total of 137 properties, which is just over 550,000 square feet. And the breakdown is shown in that slide there. It includes commercial properties, residential properties, development properties, all across the island. So it is something that we've been doing for decades. And we're now opening it up to external clients that are not a part of the group, whether it's in the UK, the US, other areas that customers or investors will be coming with interest to Jamaica. The main services that we offer are listed here: property management services. We are also a real estate dealership, which I'll go into some details in a few minutes on those. We offer project management services, property development services, and also advisory services, advice on anything to do with real estate and the management of properties. Under the property management service listing, I would like to say that what does property management mean to an investor? If you purchase a property or you own a property in Jamaica, we would be the managers of that property in Jamaica on your behalf. So everything leading from maintenance of the building, painting it, making sure that the appearance and the value is maintained, doing minor to major repairs, landscaping, janitorial contracts, garbage collection, pest control, equipment servicing, like servicing generators, servicing AC units, making sure that they are, efficient, running efficiently throughout their lifespan, and also extending their lifespan by making sure you service them properly. And also, we can advise on fire and security provisions, all things to maintain a property. Separate and apart from those that I've mentioned, things that probably don't come readily to mind where property management is concerned. If you have an investment property in Jamaica, as property managers, we would maintain records so that we could give you performance reports on your property, listing out what the revenues have been, how much we've been spending out on maintenance, how we can maximize through these performance reports, maximize your income, your revenue flows, and reduce the sums that you pay out on maintenance. These are things that we report on and advise how to improve the revenue stream that you have in your investment property. We also do investment property analysis. If you're thinking of purchasing a property, we do the analysis to see if the purchase makes sense the way you want to use it and give advice in that regard. I remember we did a meeting once, and one individual asked us if we would be able to furnish a property and prepare it for rental. And the answer is a resounding yes. If you own a property, you've just constructed it or you just purchased it and it's renovated, we would do everything to furnish it, put up drapes, the furnishing, the refrigerators, stoves, you name it. Anything that would be required to make the rental property attractive, we would do that for you as part of the service offering. So it's, we'd want to get across that it is all inclusive. Any function that you would want to manage your property, it is provided by JN Properties. And the benefit of having or engaging JN Properties is that you don't have to make multiple trips to Jamaica from the UK to come and check on what is happening with your property. We would be very proactive in making sure you understand what is going on. And I'd probably take this opportunity to say that we've all heard of horror stories of individuals living in the UK or elsewhere abroad, sending money to relatives and friends in Jamaica to build houses, to renovate houses, and so on. And it doesn't go as well as one would have liked. Engaging an entity such as JN Properties will take a lot of that risk away and make sure that the thing is, we come with the pedigree of being a part of the JN group, an entity that is well known for its integrity and the professional way in which we handle things. So it would certainly reduce the headaches that a potential investor would have in managing the property or acquiring the property in Jamaica. Okay. Under the real estate dealership services, we are now able to assist with the purchasing or selling of properties and also arranging rentals. If you have a property in Jamaica and you want to have it rented out, we will help you to find suitable tenants. We'll vet the tenants, make sure that we have people who can afford the rental rates that we're going to advise you to charge. We take on the responsibility of finding these individuals, showing you how we selected them before we actually sign over the rental agreements and start the process. And this all functions under the real estate dealership banner would be done by JN Properties, and it would include from development properties, investment properties, existing stratas. Sometimes you have strata submissions that have to be made to the government entities. You have strata meetings that need to be attended by the owners. You don't have to come to Jamaica to attend these. You can have us serve as your representatives at these meetings. And as I said, whether we have owner-occupied or tenant-occupied properties, we can provide valuable service in all regards. Project management is another area that we have a lot of experience. So whether you're going to purchase a lot of land and the aim is to develop or have a project to build a property on it. If you have an existing property and you want to renovate it, make it more modern, we can do that too under the project management banner. And we manage these properties in 5 phases. I'll go through the phases so that you understand what we have in mind. But it includes everything from initiating the project, planning, execution, monitoring and control, and the handover. Each phase is very important. And I'll go through just a quick summary of what we do in each. Under the initiation, planning, and execution phase, we would do things like sourcing the properties, engaging the professionals, the architects, quantity surveyors, general contractors, electrical contractors, you name it. We'll get the professionals on board to make the scope, costs, and the schedules for the progress of the project to be finalized, fully ventilated, and agreed before we start. Also in that process is getting all of the necessary local approvals. Mr. Samuels mentioned getting the approvals from the parish councils, and he had put up one of the slides showing all of the entities that we'd have to engage with any project management that we do. For instance, the NEPA, the Environmental Planning Agency, would be needed to get approval. We would get approvals from the fire department as well to make sure that whatever we're doing constructing meets the fire code for this jurisdiction. So we go through a full planning to make sure that the costs are fully identified and planned for before we start the execution. Now, monitoring and control is another significant portion. If a project is not properly monitored and controlled, you can have major escalations in the costings. And what we do is we make sure that when we engage general contractors, we have very strict contracts that we use to make sure that there are milestones that they have to meet before they get payments. There are penalties when projects go over time or over budget. And it's all designed to make sure that our clients get the best value for their money, and money is not wasted by a tardy contractor. You have to document in a proper contract to make sure that the contractors put the effort in where it is needed and when it is needed. The handover process also includes the formal acceptance from the client with the finished product, and we document everything, every bit of the process, so that the client can be certain that they have gotten value for money and they are happy with the final outcome of the project. Property development and advisory services, those are 2 other areas that we focus on. On the property development, as I said earlier, it could start from sourcing the properties, the greenfield land that you would purchase, making sure that you have the developmental plans approved. If you're doing construction, we can assist with putting you on to Mr. Samuels as one of our presenters today. He's in charge with property development financing. So we do have a fast track into his services and the possibility of getting the mortgages, the loans, property or project management costs through our bank services as well. Advisory services is a catch-all. So even before you start approving projects, we can do analysis for you to see if you're chosen or the interest that you show in a particular investment, if it makes sense in the long run, and we can advise you accordingly. Those are just a few details. I could go on for another hour, but I understand time is limited. So that, in a nutshell, gives you what services JN Properties offers on a daily basis. We have a lot of experience, over 20 years, 30 years experience in providing all of these services within the JN Group to the group of companies under the banner of JN Group. And we're now well on their way in offering these same services to third-party clients external to the group. And this webinar focuses basically on our family and brothers and sisters in the UK. Thank you for listening and for your attention. And I will go a little into how you contact us. On the screen there, you'll see some contact numbers. I'd like to bring to your attention first, we're further developing our website, but you can use the website, which is www.jnpropertieslimited.com with the limited spelled out. That's jnpropertieslimited.com. Our email address is jnpropertiesltd, that's a abbreviated version of limited, at jngroup.com. So it's jnpropertiesltd at jngroup.com. And you're urged to send us emails if you wish to make contact with us. We've also put together a WhatsApp telephone number. I know in the UK, you'd want to call Jamaica and not have to pay regular toll charges. So we have a WhatsApp number that you'll be able to get toll-free access, whether it is text messages or calls. For the time being, you can probably send quickly a text message and you're guaranteed to get a response from us very quickly. Thank you for your attention again, and I now hand back to the Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant Colonel Garfield Prendergast. And I'm sure that your presentation would have caused many persons here on the platform to want to know more about JN Properties and some of the innovations that we are currently undergoing at this time. Now, as I said before, the opportunity is right. We are in one of the biggest boom in real estate that this country and certainly the Caribbean has seen, and we would like for you to be a part of that journey. Now, JN Properties Limited, we have, and Colonel Prendergast mentioned a while ago, we have cadre of experienced team members, and chances are, if you call about real estate, more than likely, you may end up speaking to me at some point in time, which I hope I will have a lot of you to speak to after this webinar. But nonetheless, I know that after both presentations, persons would have had, or it would have sparked a lot of questions coming from you. I've seen a lot of questions coming up in the question chat, the question and answer chat, as well as the general chat. Now, I'll just go through a couple of those, or a few of those questions, and I will ask some of our senior persons who are online with us if they can assist with answering some of those questions. Now, the first question that I'm seeing here from Margaret Buchanan, and Margaret wants to know, can we obtain a mortgage on a property in Jamaica whilst living in the UK? And I'm going to ask Petal Hall to take this question.
Thanks for that question, Margaret, and good afternoon, good evening to our attendees. Yes, Margaret, we did answer your question in the Q&A, but for the benefit of others who are here and may have that question on your mind as well, yes, you can access your, apply for your mortgage from the UK, to purchase a property here in Jamaica. First, Margaret, you need to have your TRN, your tax registration number. If you don't, you can visit the tax administration website to apply for your TRN if you don't have it. And so we also need your income information, your file tax returns if you don't have a pay slip or job letter, or your P60. there in the UK. So your file tax returns, 2 years of file tax returns are required. We also need your credit reports from TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian. We also request your consent from here in Jamaica to pull your credit reports here, from our local credit bureaus, that's Everydata and CRIF. And you're well on your way to start searching through Jane Properties once you're pre-approved. Thanks.
Thank you so much for that, Petal. We have a question here from Marie Francis. And, I thought that this question is appropriate for what we're here about. Now, this is touching on innovation. Now, Marie Francis wants to know, how easy is it to get clearance to build container homes? Colonel Prendergast, you want to take that one, or Mr. Sam?
I think container homes would probably be no different from, regular construction. Once we have the plans put together, we take it to the parish council, get it approved. It can be done. It's something that we have done in the past, even at our own chief office, our head office in Kingston. We did a container building. We put 2 containers together, and if you look at it from the outside, you'd never believe that it was actually made from containers. We make the externals look so appealing that it looks like a regular building. I think the parish council has a history of approving such structures. So it's just a matter of putting the plans together properly, making the applications, and I'm sure it would be approved.
And there are a few container homes in Jamaica.
Great, excellent. Okay, so another question that just came in. So will project management, it says is from L. Walker. It's project management. Can each phase of the project management services be engaged individually? For example, I'd seek assistance with the planning phase, but not with the execution phase. So, Colonel Prendergast, if you want to take that one.
Could you repeat that question for me?
Right. So, L. Walker is asking, at the project management phase,
right,
whether the management services that Jane Properties offers, whether you'll be able to offer parts of the phase of the phase, which means, and he gave an example, whether you'd be able to assist with planning, but then he would execute. So is there any flexibility in that project management phase?
Yes, there is. While we'd probably want to take it from the beginning straight through to the end, but we are open to what the clients would need. So if you want us to focus on the planning, get the approvals from the necessary government agencies, we can do that, and we stop at that point, and we can have a price system to make it worth your while to do that. In fact, we actually have the advisory services line of business for such things, because sometimes you'll find we get a task to do research, develop development plans, and so on, and then the individuals or the investor chooses not to start the project right away. So we then put that effort under the advisory services, generate our fees, and when the client is ready to execute, we either get involved again or leave it up to the client. We are open to participating in any phase of the service that you'd want.
Thank you. Now, here's another innovation from Patrick Forrest. Patrick Forrest is asking, is there an account that you can offer that allows you to save for a property? Petal, would you like to take that one?
Can you repeat that question for me, please, Kerry? I was trying to answer some other questions in the Q&A. I'm so sorry.
Certainly, not a problem. So Patrick Forrester wants to know, is there an account that you can offer that allows you to save for a property?
Oh, certainly. Currently JN Bank have a double up savings promotion, and we encourage you to open a savings account. And the interest rates are varied. You also can open a fixed deposit account as well, to start your saving towards a deposit. So we do encourage you to do that. It's also a good way to start planning to buy your home. But of course, you need a deposit, to start purchasing your property. So yes, we do that as well.
Thank you so much.
We could also mention that we have a subsidiary called the Gen Fund Managers, which is a good avenue to save as well, in preparation for purchasing property. So that's another avenue of building up your funds before you actually get the down payment going.
Thank you. I have a question here from Gail Mullings. Gail Mullings says, after surveying the land, you need to speak with your attorney who will be able to take up through the process. Oh,
no, Kerry, Gail was responding to a question.
Gail was responding. My apologies. Very well.
Right.
Gail was responding. All right. Any other question? I note a lot of questions here are centered around mortgages and the process, the mortgage process and so on. I see Debbie Bailey, who's asking, what is the process if you have a business in Jamaica and contributing to NHT, plus doing it separately as well? So I'm thinking maybe again that's a mortgage question, Petal.
And the question is, Kerry, if they have a business in Jamaica and if they're
and they're contributing to NHT
as a self-employed person.
Is
that the question?
Correct, or a business owner.
Well, I presume the business owner is self-employed, right? So NHT's policy is that you must be compliant with them for at least 52 weeks, consecutive 52 weeks. And I believe I did respond to a question earlier that asks the same question. If it is that you're not compliant, you do have the opportunity, to find out from their compliance unit, how much is it that you're outstanding, and you can start contributing to the NHT to qualify you for your 7.5 maximum. So yes, there is a process if you're self-employed to be compliant that you can acquire or obtain your maximum 7.5 million. So that's there with them, yes.
Great, thank you so much.
Sure.
A question here from Sandra Francis. And Sandra is asking, does the JN Group have an approved list of attorneys that they use for conveyancing matters? Who should I throw that to? Mr. Sam, can I throw that your way?
You repeat that question for me, Kerry?
Does the JN Group have an approved list of attorneys that they use for conveyancing matters?
Yes, but if the client has his attorney or her attorney and is an attorney in good standing, we could work with that attorney. But we do have a panel.
Very well. Thank you. I have a question here from, is this Isato Sise? And Isato wants to know, okay, I have a question here. I want to sell my present property in Jamaica and purchase another one in another parish. Please advise on how I would go about doing this. Mrs. Steer, I know you're on. I'm wondering if you would like to take this.
Sure, Kerry. Can you just repeat the question again? Is it in the Q&A?
Sure. Yeah, sure. It says that the person has a property. They want to sell a property that they presently have in Jamaica and purchase another one in another parish. How would
Okay,
they
so
be
the first thing, okay, the first thing we'd have to do is identify, do you have a title for the property? Once you have your title for the property, then JN Properties can assist you with the sale of that property. And at the same time, we can also assist you by trying to identify another property in the parish of your choice. So we are a member of the Realtors Association of Jamaica. And as a member of the Realtors, we also have access to their multiple listing service, which gives us a list of properties island-wide. So anytime you're ready, just contact Jamaica National Properties and we're happy to help you.
Thank you so much for that, Sister. I have another question here. It is from Robert Wheeler. And Robert wants to know if there is an age limit for becoming a mortgager.
Right, thanks for that, Mr. Wheeler. We do have an age limit of up to age 70. However, I believe JN Bank is the only bank in Jamaica that offers you a mortgage up to age 75. Once we're able to verify your income, perhaps it is pension, or it could be rental income. You know, we do know that persons are living longer and they're working beyond, the required retirement age. And so we looked at the market and saw where, there's an opportunity for persons to acquire their mortgage and get an amortization, beyond age 70. So we do go up to age 70, but, we also look at up to age 75, providing the income can be verified.
Thank you so much, Petal. And before I continue, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our group CEO, Mr. Earl Jarrett, who has joined us. Mr. Jarrett, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Thank you so much, and good evening, everybody.
And at the appropriate time, Mr. Jarrett, I'd like for you to, say a few words to our over 290 persons who are online. But I'll give you a little time before I move over to you.
Okay.
Very well. So there's another question from Nigel Dilworth. Nigel wants to know, in what way do you help to buy property apart from just mortgages? Mrs. Stair, you want to take that one?
I think we're going to ask Petal to answer that one.
Oh, very well. Yeah.
I probably
thanks,
just want to
Mr.
say, before Petal starts on, is that it's not just mortgages. JN Properties does the real estate dealership activity. So is searching for properties. If you're trying to purchase something, if you want a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, we'll look at the available properties across the island and you make a choice. We help you to source or to find suitable properties. If you're selling a property, we help you to find buyers. So it's linking buyers with the seller. And those are all part of the real estate dealership activity that we do. And when you do need the financing part of the transaction, then we would refer you to the bank to be available or take advantage of the facilities that they provide. Petal, is
Terry,
there
I
anything you
believe
want to
Colonel
add?
has answered the question.
Answered.
How I'd plan to answer.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. That's it. Teamwork. All right. Petal, I believe this one is absolutely for you. It says, after getting my NHT approval letter, can this help me to get a mortgage and do the process from the UK?
Yes, in fact, that's the first step. That's the first step to actually know, how to help you with your search. That's what Jane Properties will help you to do. So, the eligibility letter and the pre-approval process, for us here at Jane Properties, very, very important step. Before you start searching, you wouldn't want to start searching and you don't know how much you're qualified for. So, the eligibility letter will help us to find out, how much is it from NHT you're qualified for, and along with the other requirements, how much from JN side you'll be able to qualify for, coupled with the NHT portion. And that will now help us through Jane Properties to help you to start a search, based on your taste and liking and so forth. Yes.
Thank you so much, Petal. Okay, so the questions have been coming in thick and fast, and I think Petal has done extremely well at answering a lot of them via the chat. There's also the JN member at janouk.com, where you can send your contact number and your full name, and they will assist with answering any other questions that you may have. But at this time, I would like to pause to welcome our group CEO, Jarrett, who has been our leader for over 2 decades, and he has provided some astute leadership. Mr. Jarrett, welcome, and I'd like to ask you to say a few words to all our participants online.
Thank you, Chairman, Mr. Kerry Scott. And I'd just like to acknowledge our Managing Director for the Jane Properties, Lieutenant Colonel Garfield Prendergast, all other panelists and Director, Mrs. Elizabeth Steer, and Mr. Earl Samuels. And of course, I'd like to greet each one of you here present, members from the UK, I understand even from Australia and the United States who are on the line this afternoon with us. Just want to briefly say that real estate acquisition is the most significant acquisition you'll ever do in your life. And for many Jamaicans, for many persons around the world, wealth is actually created through real estate investments. If you just look around at all of the successful families and successful individuals, real estate has been an integral part of their asset portfolios. And it's no different here in Jamaica. And so through Jane Properties, you have an opportunity to identify, to select, to have somebody on your side to help you to navigate the path for financing and renovation. And we have a property in Jamaica that's just sitting there. You'll have a trusted person to oversee that property and to help you to ensure that the value remains intact. Or if you have an appetite for development, Jane Properties is well equipped to do that for you as well too. I say this to say that if you look at the rise in the wealth of most Jamaicans, it's through the acquisition of property and mortgages. If you go back to 1874 when we were created, there was no real avenue for persons, for the newly free Jamaican exiting slavery, to acquire home loans. In fact, the then colonial master had no interest in you having a property of your own. But over the years, through the work of Jamaica National, being a mutual organization owned by its members, we're able to accumulate capital to assist persons in acquiring that first property on which they could build their wealth and improve their family's outcome. For many persons, property represents an anchor through which you access businesses, access higher education or education for your children. So it's not a passing investment, but an active one that can help to transform the lives of you and your family and the next generation to come. At Jane Properties, we're dedicated to all that, built on that solid foundation of 150 years, built on that solid foundation of being an organization created and managed by you, the people. And so this afternoon's webinar, I believe, is a great opportunity for Colonel Prendergast and his team to share with you what we're doing here at Jane Properties. And of course, should there be any issues, I'm always there in the background to help you as the need arise. So again, I want to thank you all for taking the time to be with us here today and to avail yourself of the information that has been provided. I noticed the series of questions asked, and I hope that you would have got full answers for all those questions. And if you did not get the answer today, I see in the chat where persons have put their email addresses, contact them and ensure that you get the information that you require. As you would have been told or known today, the European Central Bank reduced the interest rates in Europe. And it's no doubt that that will probably follow through in the UK. And hopefully it will also follow through in the United States and in Jamaica itself, which signals that the world is beginning to adequately address the issues of inflation. But lowering interest rates also has a corresponding effect or an effect on the property values and the value of assets generally. And what that means is that the value of assets tend to go up as interest rates are reduced. And therefore, if you have a real estate decision to make, this is a good time to make it, because it is known, it is ineluctable or clear that in a couple of months to come, as interest rates reduce and people get less on their savings in banks and on securities, they'll turn to the real assets, and the best one is really real estate. So I leave that with you to think about and watch the papers in the UK and around the world as to what's the trend for interest rates. And that trend will signal to you that it is time to invest in property or to improve the property here in Jamaica or to have the property in Jamaica properly managed by a trusted organization and trusted people, being Colonel Prendergast, Kerry Scott, and others. So with that said, I hand back over to you, Kerry. And again, my apology for coming out at the end. I'm actually overseas on business and was unable to join at the appointed time. But I didn't want this day to go by without being in attendance with you. So again, apologies and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jarrett. And I actually thought that you deliberately did this to close the show, but but
life, Kerry, life
yeah.
throws obstacles in your way, and sometimes you must navigate.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you so much, Mr. Jarrett, for being here with us. Albeit being away, but you're still here, and you thought it necessary to be here with us, and I'm sure everybody who is in attendance appreciates the fact that you were able to join us today.
Thank you.
So, to your participants, I'd like to thank you for a well-spent evening so far. Jamaica Property Boom, Innovations, Regulations, and Opportunities was our theme for today. And I think that our presenters who came and presented did an extremely good job, because what has happened since then, it has sparked a lot of questions and a lot of conversations going on in the chats. And those conversations will continue. I've seen where a lot of questions are being asked about whether this recording will be made available. Yes, everyone who has registered will have the presentation sent to their email, and we have the email address I saw for a few other members of the team who would have been passed on to you. Please feel free to reach out to us and ensure that all of your concerns, your questions are answered. You have our toll-free lines. You have email addresses. Please use it. We're here to serve you. We're here to ensure that all your questions and your concerns are dealt with appropriately. So, with that said, I'd like to thank our presenters, Mr. Samuels, Carlton Earl Samuels, and Lieutenant Colonel Garfield Sean Prendergast, who presented here today, along with Mrs. Steer, Petal Hall, and all our team in the background. I'd like to thank you all for making this webinar the success that it has been.
Just to remind you, Kerry, Mrs. Steer is a director and a former head of the National Land
National
Agency.
Land Agency. Correct. Thank you for that. So thank you, and all the best. We will definitely be in touch. Thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Kerry.